We are back again here today for another week of trophy guides in Helldivers 2, and in today's video I'll be going over one of the more harder trophies in the game. It's the trophy Hold My Primary, I'm Going In. For this trophy you need to complete a full hard difficulty mission or higher without anyone firing their primary or support weapon. So the first thing you're going to want to keep in mind for this trophy is your loadout. Since you can't bring any support weapon stratagems and you also can't fire your primary weapon, you're basically going to want to bring airstrikes and turrets. And the airstrikes and the turrets will be doing most of the work getting the kills in order for you to complete the mission. So personally, I've been using the napalm airstrike and the gas strike. Then also for this specific trophy, I'm bringing the Gatling sentry and the mortar sentry. These are sort of mid-game stratagems. Obviously, if you have more of the late game stuff unlocked, you can use that instead, as those are probably stronger and makes this a lot easier. But aside from that, once you have your loadout figured out, you're going to want to fire up a difficulty 5 mission. And specifically, you want to fire up a defend area mission once again. Similar to some of my previous videos so far, the defend area missions are much easier because they're a lot shorter. So it makes completing these sort of challenging conditional trophies much easier, as you can just sort of quickly hammer out the amount of kills that you need and then extract from the mission. So you're going to want to fire up your difficulty 5 defend area mission. You're going to want to bring the airstrikes and the turrets like I mentioned. This is also much easier to do with a friend like I'm doing here, but it can be done solo, as there's no penalty for dying for this one, so you can die as many times as possible, as long as you're still able to complete the mission. In terms of the mission itself here, as we're kind of getting into it here with the footage, we basically kind of use a strategy where we're layering our turrets. So right when the mission starts, we both call in one turret each, and then from there, we keep those turrets up for as long as possible, but when they go down, then we call in our second turret. So we're just kind of layering our turret cooldowns, almost to kind of make it so that there's always a turret in play from one of us. And that kind of just makes it easier to just keep those turrets cycling and keep getting the kills with the bugs. The turrets will be getting most of the kills in this mission, especially since you can't use your primary weapon or your support stratagems like I mentioned previously. But also then, same sort of idea with your airstrikes. So we both have the napalm and the gas airstrike on here. We're doing the same kind of strategy with both the turrets and the airstrikes. So we're kind of layering our airstrikes, whereas we're not throwing them all at once right at the same time. We'll kind of have me call in an airstrike, and then my teammate calls in an airstrike. We kind of just keep running around the mission and baiting in groups of large enemies into the airstrikes and the turrets, and sort of farming the kills that way in order to have enough to complete the mission. One thing that to keep in mind here is you can still use your grenades and your pistol. So if you have the machine pistol unlocked, it's actually a pretty decent one for killing some of the weaker bug enemies pretty quickly. But from there, other than that, the only thing you can really do is kind of just sprint around the mission as much as possible. So we basically just keep calling in our turrets, keep calling in our airstrikes, using the grenades and using, you know, your pistol if needed. But from there, you kind of just want to sprint around as much as possible and just focus on staying alive as long as possible. And just making sure that you are calling in those airstrikes and those turrets as frequently as you can in order to farm up the amount of kills that you need to complete the mission. It sounds like a difficult trophy, but as long as you're just working together with a teammate or even with a solo player, you can still do this by just calling in turrets and airstrikes consistently and then just sprinting around the level and trying to stay alive for as long as possible. Once you get your requisite 175 bug kills, you're just going to want to then run to the extract ship. And as long as you have completed the condition of not firing your primary weapon, you obviously never called in or brought a support weapon stratagem, the trophy will unlock and it will be completed. That is the trophy Hold My Primary, I'm Going In. The general strategy is to just kind of use a defend area difficulty 5 mission. Obviously, the more people you have to do this one with, the easier it will be, but it can still be done honestly pretty easily on a duo or even as a solo player. It just takes a few tries, and as long as you stick to the airstrikes and the turrets, you should have a ton of success for this one, and the trophy will be yours. It's to complete a full hard difficulty mission or higher without anyone firing their primary or support weapon. That's going to do it for today's Helldivers 2 trophy guide, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If this video helped you out, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And as always, I'll see you guys soon.